You have been told that success is reserved for the few, that wealth is a game of luck, chance, connections, or privilege. But Wallace D. Wattles shattered that illusion over a century ago. He proclaimed something bold, something radical for his time, and still radical today. That there is a science to getting rich, a formula, a pattern, a certain way that when followed with faith and discipline must lead to success. Not might, must. Just as boiling water at 100 degrees Celsius produces steam, following the certain way produces wealth. No exceptions, no maybes, no what-ifs. What is this certain way? It begins not with effort, not with hustle, not even with education or background. It begins with thought. Because thought is the only power that can produce tangible riches from the formless substance of the universe. Before gold is mined, before real estate is bought, before businesses are built, there is thought. Focused, deliberate, purposeful thought. This is the foundation. Thought is the first creation. Action is the second. Without the first, the second is scattered energy, motion without meaning. But when thought is directed, unwavering and filled with purpose, it draws unseen forces into alignment. Now think about this. You do not get rich by doing certain things randomly. You get rich by doing things in a certain way. And anyone, regardless of race, background, or current situation, can learn to do things in this certain way. The universe is not biased. It is mathematical. It works by law, not by emotion. You do not have to beg for success. You simply align yourself with the principles that govern it. Wattles explained that the formless substance, what some may call spirit, God, or infinite intelligence, is always seeking fuller expression through us. It wants to live more, do more, express more. And when you align your thoughts with expansion, when you desire to grow, not from greed, but from the sacred urge to become all you are capable of being, the universe moves to support you. Your desire to be rich is not selfish, it is divine. It is an expression of life seeking more life. You were not born to shrink. You were born to expand, to create, to contribute. But most people go about this backwards. They try to get rich by working harder, longer, and faster, without first mastering the mental laws. They act without clear vision. They chase opportunities. They scramble, and in the chaos, they lose power. Wattles warned that you must never act in haste or anxiety. Action born from fear is disconnected from the certain way. The correct way is calm, clear, faithful. It is action that springs from a deeply held belief that you are already connected to everything you need. You are not chasing success. You are magnetizing it to you through your thoughts and your unwavering commitment to act in harmony with those thoughts. So what does this look like in practice? First, form a clear and definite mental picture of what you want. Be specific. Vague goals bring vague results. Visualize it every day, not with strain, but with calm expectation. And do not simply daydream. Know that what you picture is already yours in the spiritual realm. It exists now. Your task is to hold to that picture no matter what your current reality looks like. Circumstances are secondary. Faith is primary. Second, infuse that picture with gratitude. Gratitude is the stabilizer of the mind. When you are grateful, you signal to the universe that you are already aligned with abundance. You are not begging for more. You are acknowledging the more that is already unfolding. Gratitude keeps your mind fixed on the creative field. It prevents you from slipping into doubt, fear, or comparison, and it energizes your thoughts with a positive charge that amplifies your power. Third, act. But do not wait for perfect conditions. Do not delay until you feel ready. Do not obsess over having a perfect plan. Do what you can with what you have from where you are right now. Every day, take the actions available to you and do them with your best effort. Not average effort, not rushed effort, your best. Because in doing so, you train yourself to operate at a higher vibration. You elevate your habits. You expand your capacity. And the universe, seeing your seriousness, meets you with opportunities. It's not about how big your actions are. It's about the quality. Do every small thing in a great way. If you're sweeping a floor, do it with excellence. If you're answering emails, do it with energy. If you're building a brand, serve one customer with the same passion as you would serve 1,000,000. The universe rewards discipline, devotion, and diligence, but only when those are aligned with your clear vision and unwavering thought. Remember this, success is not about doing hundreds of different things. It is about doing a few right things in the certain way over and over again. Simplicity, not complexity, is the path to mastery. Don't confuse motion with progress. Don't confuse activity with achievement. The law does not respond to how busy you are. It responds to how aligned you are. And this is where most people lose power. They try to do too much. They scatter their focus. They seek shortcuts. They copy others. They doubt their own vision. And in doing so, they interrupt the signal they are sending to the formless substance. Clarity creates momentum. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum once built is unstoppable. So guard your mind, protect your vision, speak only what you want to create, think only thoughts that serve your purpose. Doubt is expensive. Fear is a luxury you cannot afford. Every time you entertain worry, you delay your good. Every time you allow yourself to believe that circumstances control you, you give away your power. You were born rich, in spirit, in potential, in creativity, and the world around you is simply reflecting the thoughts you hold most consistently. Wattles emphasized this truth over and over, that the formless substance responds to thought, not to talent, not to luck, not to heritage, but to thought. So if your current conditions are not what you desire, it is not a sign that the world is unfair. It is a signal that your dominant thinking needs to be recalibrated. Your life is a mirror. What you hold in consciousness will show up in form. But this isn't about positive thinking alone. This isn't wishful thinking. This is applied thinking, disciplined thinking, thinking backed by decision, gratitude, and daily action. That is the certain way. To think clearly, to think richly, to think as if what you want already exists, to act on that thought with confidence and energy, to reject worry, fear, or doubt as unworthy of your attention, to stay the course when results are invisible, trusting that your mental seeds are growing roots beneath the surface. You are always creating. Every day your thoughts are generating your future. The question is, are you creating deliberately or by default? Are you mastering the laws that govern success, or are you reacting to life's noise? When you master the certain way, life begins to respond to you. People show up, resources arrive, ideas come forth, and all of it seems to happen naturally. But it's not magic, it's law, it's principle, and it works just as Wattles said it would. This is the truth the world needs to remember. Success is not about competition. It is not about taking from others. It is about becoming more yourself. The more you expand your mind, the more you serve others. The more you act with integrity and faith, the more you rise, the more value you give, the more value returns. And you begin to realize that wealth is not a game to be won. It is a flow to be joined. You stop chasing. You start attracting. You stop doubting. The certain way is not about force. It's not about manipulating results or pushing against what is. It is about aligning. It is about stepping into the natural rhythm of abundance that has existed long before you and will continue long after. When you step into this flow, life becomes more graceful, more responsive. You don't need to demand your good. You need only prepare for it. And preparation is mental first, physical second. You must make space in your mind for wealth before it can appear in your life. Many people want to get rich but live with a scarcity mindset. They say they believe in abundance, but they constantly worry about bills, compare themselves to others, and act out of fear. This is not alignment. This is contradiction. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot think wealth and speak lack. You cannot believe in success and bathe in doubt. The formless substance responds only to the strongest signal, and your strongest signal is your most repeated thought, reinforced by your emotional tone and daily habits. That's why Wattles was clear. You must fix your mind on what you want and never allow it to wander. Mental discipline is the gateway to prosperity. Most people think they lack opportunities, but what they truly lack is focus. They get excited about an idea, then second guess it. They visualize their goal, then spend hours scrolling through negativity. They talk about belief, then act in fear. These contradictions dilute power. If you want to be rich, your thought must be rich, not just once a day during a meditation, but constantly as a default state of mind. This doesn't mean pretending. It means programming. It means speaking only of what is wanted. It means feeding your mind with truth, success, beauty, and possibility until the old patterns dissolve. It means saturating your consciousness with images and affirmations of the life you are creating, not the one you are escaping. This is not self-delusion. It is self-direction. You are the thinker of the thought. You are the selector of ideas. You are the one who chooses what occupies your attention. And once you decide that only wealth, only growth, only expansion are worthy of your energy, your environment begins to shift. People notice. Opportunities come. And most importantly, your own energy becomes magnetic. You stop chasing results. You start becoming the cause. You radiate certainty, and life responds to certainty. The certain way is, at its core, a deep belief that life is for you, not against you, that the universe is a friendly place, eager to support your growth, that success is not a rare blessing for the chosen few, but a natural consequence for those who think rightly and act efficiently. This belief alone changes everything. Because once you believe that life is working in your favor, you stop resisting, you start expecting, you stop fearing, you start allowing. An expectation, aligned with preparation, becomes a powerful creative force. Wattles emphasized that there is a thinking substance from which all things are made. Everything you see, Buildings, money, systems, inventions first existed in someone's mind. It was molded in thought before it was formed in substance. You are no different. Your desires are not random. They are divine instructions. They are signals from the formless substance seeking expression through you. And when you honor those desires, not just with fantasy but with faith, you activate unseen forces. The world begins to bend in your direction. But only if you stay the course. Many start strong, then waver. They believe for a week, then surrender to fear. They act for a month, then stop when results don't appear. This is not the certain way. This is the scattered way. This is the way of average minds. The certain way requires endurance, not physical endurance, mental endurance, the ability to hold a thought in place, regardless of what your senses report. The ability to say, "It is coming," when everything around you says it's not. The ability to act in faith, not fear, over and over again. And how do you develop that level of belief? You train it like a muscle. You feed your mind daily. You read truth. You speak truth. You write your goals. You visualize. You give thanks. You act with integrity. You hold yourself accountable. And most of all, you surround yourself with people, media, and environments that reflect the world you are building, not the one you are escaping. You make your future louder than your past. You make your vision more vivid than your memory. You stop being a prisoner of what was and become a creator of what will be. This is how the certain way works. It starts in the invisible, then it moves into the visible. But the visible is always a lagging indicator. Reality is always catching up to thought. So do not judge your progress by what you see. Judge it by what you believe. Keep watering your mental garden. Keep weeding out doubt. Keep shining light on your vision. And in due time, the results will show up, not as surprises, but as confirmations of what you already knew. This is why Wattles taught that no person fails who follows the certain way. You may face delays, you may be tested, you may have to stretch, grow, and evolve, but you will not fail, because the laws are exact, the principles are timeless, and the results, though they may take time, are guaranteed. This is the truth few believe, because they've been conditioned to think life is random, harsh, or unjust. But once you understand the laws, you realize the only injustice is ignorance, the only unfairness is misalignment. So make this your creed. I will think only of what I want. I will speak only of what I want. I will act only in harmony with my vision. I will be grateful before the evidence arrives. I will do my best where I am with what I have. I will not complain. I will not compete. I will create. I will not wait. I will act. I will not fear. I will trust. I will not follow the crowd. I will follow the law. This is the certain way, and I choose to live it. And as you live this way, something else happens. Your character evolves. You become more than just someone chasing wealth. You become someone embodying principle. You become disciplined, focused, positive, productive. You become the type of person who naturally attracts success, not just because of the law, but because of who you are becoming. You become someone others trust, respect, and admire. You become a leader, not by title, but by energy. And this, more than any temporary win, is the greatest reward of all, transformation. Because the goal is not just to get rich, it is to grow rich, to grow in thought, to grow in service, to grow in self-mastery. And as you grow, your world grows with you. You don't just attract money, you attract meaning. You don't just gain assets, you gain alignment. You don't just build wealth, you build wisdom, and that wisdom makes you unshakable. This is what Wallace D. Wattles understood so deeply, that wealth is not something you earn in the traditional sense. It is something you allow, something you claim, something you embody. When your thought is aligned, your action is focused, and your belief is unwavering, the world has no choice but to respond. It must. That is the law, that is the science, that is the promise. And that promise is not for the elite, it is not for the privileged, it is not for the lucky, it is for you. If you can think, if you can act, if you can believe, then you can become rich, because riches are the result of law, not of favoritism. And when you step into the certain way, you step into the flow of life's highest order. You become not a beggar of success, but a rightful heir to it, not because you shouted louder, but because you aligned deeper. The world is full of examples. You don't have to look far to see the evidence of this truth in action. From the quiet entrepreneur who visualized his dream business every morning before dawn, to the single mother who dared to believe she could be a millionaire while working 2 jobs, there are countless souls who followed the certain way, who aligned their thought with unwavering faith, took action with purpose, and transformed invisible visions into visible reality. They are no different from you. They do not possess more intelligence, better background, or some hidden advantage. They simply learned to think and act in a certain way, and they stayed with it. The question now is not whether the path works. It does. The question is, will you walk it? Will you dare to hold your thoughts steady when the world pushes you to doubt? Will you take action every day, not just when it's convenient, but especially when it's uncomfortable? Will you express gratitude even when the evidence is not yet visible, knowing that the act of gratitude is itself creative? Will you train your mind as if your life depends on it, because it does? Too often we treat our mental life as optional. We let the mind wander. We let old patterns repeat. We let the environment dictate our emotional state. But the mastermind, the mind that moves mountains, does not leave its power up to chance. It is trained, directed, disciplined, not with force but with love, not with strain but with clarity, not with desperation but with certainty. There will be moments when it's easier to conform, to fall back into old ways, to give in to appearances. But those are the exact moments that define your future. Every thought you think is a vote for the life you're building. Every moment of belief is a brick in the foundation of your wealth. And every act done in faith, however small, is a ripple that expands your capacity to receive. The law is always working. The question is, are you working with it or against it? You have the power to decide. No one can think your thoughts for you. No one can act your vision into being but you. This responsibility is not a burden. It is a gift. It means that you are not dependent on anyone or anything for your success. The only gatekeeper is your consciousness. And once your consciousness expands to match the wealth you seek, the external must reflect it. It's not philosophy, it's physics. Energy attracts like energy. Vibration attracts like vibration. Your results are mirrors of your mind. So what do you do now? You begin. You begin again and again, every morning, every moment. You hold the vision. You trust the law. You act where you are with power and purpose. You reject fear. You cultivate calm. You outgrow excuses. You outshine limitation. You rise not just once, but daily. You return to the certain way again and again until it becomes who you are. And in time you will find yourself transformed. Not only will your bank account grow, but so will your confidence. Not only will your business expand, but so will your impact. Not only will you have more, but you will be more. You'll wake up each day not in survival, but in service, not in confusion, but in clarity, not in reaction, but in creation. This is the real reward, not just the wealth, but the wisdom, not just the money, but the meaning. Wattles did not promise magic. He promised mastery. He did not teach hustle. He taught harmony. And his teachings have echoed through generations, not because they were loud, but because they were true. Timeless truths don't fade. They grow louder as the world grows noisier. And right now, more than ever, the world needs those who walk the certain way, who think with faith, who act with discipline, who live with gratitude, who lead not by words, but by example. So be that example, be the proof. Let your life be the message. Let your results be your voice. Let your character be your currency. And let your wealth be not just in dollars, but in devotion to the highest vision of yourself. You were not born to blend in. You were born to stand out, not through arrogance, but through alignment. You were born to prosper, not through competition, but through creation. You were born to rise, not someday, but now. The certain way is not just a method. It is a mindset. It is a movement. It is a decision you make daily to trust in something deeper than circumstance. It is a way of life where thought leads, action follows, and results appear, not by accident, but by alignment. You do not need permission. You only need a decision. Decide now. And from this moment forward, never waver, never doubt, never delay, because the universe is already listening. The substance is already shaping. The path is already opening, and everything you seek is already seeking you. So step forward, not with hesitation, but with certainty, because now you know the way. And once you know the way, all that's left is to walk it.